Oh, come on, somebody. I am ready to get to Montevideo, my man. I am ready to get there to Uruguay, and I really want to go see that baby. Come on, everybody online. Let's welcome Steve McCarthy and his beautiful baby, Julia.
Yeah.
And hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing great, my friend. Great. It's so great to see you this morning. We want to welcome our team that's joining online right now, watching from literally all over the world. Already people talking in Spanish, people are talking in English. I love the day that we live in, that we get to connect this way. It is so good. Go ahead, stretch your fingers out because you're going to be doing a lot of typing tonight, my friends. We've got so many questions. Steve's going to be asking you guys so many opportunities for you to be asking questions. And tonight is going to be a fun night. If you've ever been on a mission trip, there's always that point, whether it's a full day or a half day, that you go out into the city, the town, wherever you're working, and you get to see kind of the culture and what's going on and kind of get your hands in the mix and try some different foods and smells and just all kinds of fun stuff. Well, it's really tough to do that on video. So we put together something exciting tonight to get to do with our friends, Steve and Jill McCarthy. Come on, everybody, welcome them to the stage today. We're so excited to have you guys. Did y'all get the kids all put down?
Yes, they are almost asleep, but they're in their beds and they're quiet.
Well, if they make it out, it is okay. We understand. Thank you for allowing us into your home tonight and keeping at least one level up that we can look at so no one's staring at us.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I think we just have to recognize how monumental of a week this is for Steve and Jill. They're on top of like the first project and all that goes with it. The kiddos, the new baby, Steve back and forth, Jill on video at the church. Put the kids to sleep at night, doing these evening videos. I don't know how you're swinging it, but well done. Yeah.
So the question that keeps getting asked, are we going to do this for every church, all 100 churches? And the answer is
probably not.
Your work, and we appreciate all you guys have been doing.
Yeah. Well, what a day.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys too. We know it's been a lot on you to coordinate everything and get the connections set up, and we really appreciate it. Even though it's been a busy week, it has been a ton of fun.
It has been good.
That's right. Well, the one question I have right off the bat is, do you have your mate there close?
Well, we don't have the mate with us, but we did bring a few items that we'll show throughout the night.
Okay.
So people can learn a little bit more about the countries.
We have something that goes with the mate. We have the dulce de leche.
Oh, no, okay, put that back down. Put that back down. I'm not ready for that yet.
Do that for the end. Yeah.
Hey, I tell you what, for those that are watching online, make sure at any point throw your questions in. If I don't answer it right there, it will get answered at some point in the night. So make sure you put your questions, your comments.
Oh, we're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about food.
Oh, we are going to talk about food.
Don't get the weirdest thing.
Let me go ahead and start this out. I meant to ask this a minute ago. We have people right now that have traveled the world. I've been in many different places. What is the weirdest thing that you've ever eaten? So those that are watching online, why don't you put that in the comments, the most unique, the strangest thing that you have ever eaten. One of the common ones that we'll see was one of mine, and that is blood sausage. I'm talking about the chewy. Y'all have blood sausage there?
We do.
Oh, my gosh. It doesn't matter how many times you try it. It just never sits right, you know? So make sure you guys put those in the comments. Ryan, let's talk about today. What happened today?
Well, apparently a lot of progress. It was rainy, so they were already dried in, though, which was really unbelievable, Steve. That they started putting up steel on Monday, and what is today? Saturday. They're dried in and putting up drywall. Where did you end up after we concluded this afternoon?
So the great thing was we got those double doors, the front doors in, got most of the drywall up and ready to go, and made some progress on a couple other little things too that they wanted to do. So the nice thing is the rain looks like it's starting to slow down, so we're hopeful. Hopeful might get in a few hours tomorrow too before the dedication. So you have to tune in and see exactly what we're able to accomplish before the service.
Oh, yeah, big day. Well, okay. quick. Did you ask weirdest thing you've ever eaten before?
I did, yeah.
You did. Okay.
What was yours?
You didn't ask me, so I'm
sorry. What was the weirdest thing you've ever eaten before?
I actually ate a termite.
Termite?
In Belize, they eat termites. They eat termites in Belize.
Oh my gosh!
Just give it on your finger and you give it a little lick.
Oh my gosh!
They taste like mints. No joke. They taste like mints.
Oh my goodness!
So, and what about? Should we ask Steve?
Yeah, not counting Uruguay, because we'll hit that in the food section. What's the weirdest thing you guys have ever eaten in your world travels?
Well, Ecuador.
Guinea pig.
Yeah, I think my weirdest thing actually did happen here. So I can either tell you that story now or later.
Oh, I think you hold on to it.
Yeah,
then,
hold on to that
I
one.
want
Okay.
Hold on to that one. Guinea pig, was that in, is that
The best is when they give it to you. It's a delicacy in places like Ecuador, Peru, and so on those different trips, the missionary would get one for us and want the team to try it, and they bring it out. And the best thing is, it's on the plate there. It's all skin, but it's still got those little teeth, out front.
How special.
And a few kids always have had a pet, so they feel heartbroken and have some trouble eating it. But really,
Like,
just
Oreo, my pet.
it just tastes like chicken.
So
Chicken, everything's chicken.
If you have guinea pig pets, please forgive this conversation.
That's fine. So we're going to do something a little bit unique. Steve sent us some great video footage that he's put together. He's found some fun pictures. We're going to be asking some questions. We need you to engage true and false questions. Keep up with the ones you get right, because we're actually going to give a shirt away at the end. So, all right. Make sure you engage with that. And it might be a little unique to see. Gotta love technology. We're going to do the best we can with what we've got. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Jonathan, go ahead and bring the video in. And let's go to Montevideo, or Montevideo if you're from the South. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's where you're from. So Jonathan, why don't you take us to Montevideo? Go ahead, take it from the top. All right, so we're going. No, that's a countdown. Let's not go to that one. We're gonna pick a different video. The joys of technology.
It's all right.
Can you imagine trying to do this
out
10
of
years
all
ago?
of this, that's the first wrong start.
Hey,
so
it's no problem.
we got to give some love to Jonathan. He's
doing a great job.
Lots of love.
It's doing amazing. I have been so impressed with everything. I think it's awesome.
We appreciate that.
We're going to zoom in here just to give everybody an idea of where we are.
Whoa.
And,
Hold on.
All
Stop right there.
Let's stop it there.
That's a really, really big city. Holy cow. When you look at it like that, we're not talking about out in the country. How many people live in Montevideo?
So about 1.5 million people.
Golly. Now
That's
compare that to all of Uruguay.
So there's about 3.5 million people that live in Uruguay.
So about a third of the people live in this city. That is a massive, massive city. And so you've got this very, not industrial, but you got very congested part of the city. What does the rest of the country feel like? Very country farm, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, they call it the interior, and it's definitely a lot of farms. It's kind of flat. There's some main routes that kind of go out from the main city to get to the other bigger cities in the interior, but not a lot of mountains, which we're used to mountains where we're from in New York, but that was changed. And most of the city, Montevideo, is on the coast of the Rio de la Plata River, it's called. So there's a nice coastline. It's really pretty. But yeah, definitely a lot of farms and just countryside and pretty.
And one of the things that you'll see everywhere when you go out there are cows. In fact, they say something like 6 cows for every 1 person that lives in Uruguay. So
really, it's like heaven.
Yes. Come on. Hey, here's a question that just came in: is there good shopping in the city?
Yeah, there is. They're very well known for their leather products here because of the cattle industry. So really nice leather boots, leather purses, leather jackets. So I would say that's probably the best.
Well, I would say if there's that many cows, there should be a lot of leather laying around. That is incredible. More cows than people. I love what are the crops on the farms predominantly?
You know, it's funny. They have really great soil here, so they're able to plant whatever seems to be, you know, the most important crop at the time. Right now, it's soy. They joke that the Argentine economy rises and falls on the price of soy, and so the Uruguayans they found that their harvest is about a week before Argentina's, and so they'll plant all the products and try to get those to market more quickly, so they get the highest price for stuff. They saw blueberries were selling well over there, so they started planting those here too. And so yeah, anything that you could imagine, they grow here. Of course, the dairy industry is big with all the cattle as well.
Right, I can imagine. That is incredible. Hey, well, let's keep rolling.
All right, Jonathan, go ahead and roll. Let's see what else we got here in Uruguay.
Montevideo. This city looks just absolutely
that
gorgeous.
Montevideo sign is what we've seen so much of.
Do you guys live in an area similar to this?
So we live in the capital city, not that far from that sign at all.
Okay.
And one of the things that we love is you've probably seen the river that's running along there, and that's the Rio de la Plata. Separates Argentina and Uruguay. It's the widest river in the world, and because it's so wide, you kind of get some of the salt water from the Atlantic there. You get some waves. But really, I think it's their favorite place to be in the capital city. People walk along that river road there. They call it the Rambla. They just love to go to the beaches when the weather's nice. And a lot of people there are always exercising and out there and stuff. So drinking their mate in the evening, watching the sunset. Yeah, one of the special things.
That sounds magical. So tell me, what is the architecture like there? In that video, we saw a lot of older buildings. I don't want to put you on the spot and tell us what they all are, but tell us a little bit about it, because it seems like some really old construction as well.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of European influence here. 90% of the people that live here, their ancestors came from Italy or Spain. And so you see that reflected not only in the food and the customs, but also in the architecture. And so what you might see in one of those cities or countries with their main plaza in the middle, and then some of their buildings that would go out from there, it's just beautiful. So you saw some of our main plazas there. You saw the theater where they have many of their works of art, and just a wonderful thing. Some old architecture that you can see, you know, all throughout the downtown part of the capital city.
Is Argentina and Uruguay? Argentina's like that too, very similar. And I'm just curious. So it's the cultures there are right along the same lines.
Very similar.
Yeah.
All right.
So one of the questions that came in is there a lot of surfing there? Is surfing big there?
Actually, on the Atlantic side, yes.
Okay.
They have some beautiful beaches. There's quite a bit of surfers that come down and just really enjoy the waves out there. So yeah.
All right. I know some surfers.
Some surfers. I'm not one of them, but that's great. And the buildings are just absolutely gorgeous. When teams come, do you take them to see some of these buildings?
So we'll drive right along that river road. We'll take a picture in front of the Montevideo sign that you guys saw there and head right downtown, where we'll walk around. There's some pedestrian walkways. We'll have lunch down there in the middle of all that. And just around the corner from it is the port. And so you can see where all that was, and an old fort that's there as well. So it's a really nice place where we can do a little day trip with the team, and they can get to experience, you know, a little bit of the culture here.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, speaking of some of those things, Jonathan, let's keep going to this next part, because this has actually stirred some really interesting questions that we've discussed around here. You're really on this port area, am I correct? So a lot of things being shipped in. And then I see a cruise ship as well. So tell us a little bit about what that looks like there.
Yeah. So that's the main port. That's where all the ships and containers come into. Because Uruguay is a smaller country, they don't produce as much as, you know, a larger one. So a lot of their stuff's imported, and they actually have quite a bit of a tax when it comes to all that. Sometimes even as much as 100% import tax on things that come in. So it just leads to some higher prices than typical products that you might find, you know, in the States.
part of the discussion that we've been having on the cost of these buildings.
Right.
The challenges has been the tariffs. Getting the metal in country can be, if I remember correctly, you said
material,
almost 100%. So for those that don't understand tariffs, that's a tax. So if it costs $1,000 to get it in, it's another $1,000 in taxes just for the metal. Is that right?
That's correct. And then they also have a sales tax of 23%. So
Wow.
it leads to some very high costs.
So
now,
that's
comparative to other countries in Latin America, people here earn a higher income, but still it's very difficult for people because of so many taxes that they have.
That's incredible.
So that's one of the challenges we faced in the cost of construction. Some countries right there around you, they're cheaper, but it's just what it costs to do business in Uruguay. And you know what, to me, is so exciting. That was a hurdle we knew we were going to have to get over, Steve. But God is showing up in such an amazing way. And during this week, two big surprises. We found out about two more churches that are being funded. One individual and another church have said, we're funding a project. I don't know if you know that, Steve.
Incredible.
That's incredible. It's so they're, God's really showing up. It's amazing.
It is unbelievable. Dan just asked the question, how are the country relations with their neighbors?
Very good. Very good. Yeah, Argentina and Brazil are the two neighboring countries. They're very close. Most of their trades, that are take place in the Mercosur, which would be this part of South America. They have some great alliances and very close relationships. In fact, with just their national ID cedula card, they can travel freely over those borders between the countries. Well, outside of COVID time, they can easily travel between those countries in our region. You don't even need a passport.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, is there any signaling of when those borders might open back up, even there locally, and in terms of COVID?
It's a good question.
Everybody's
wondering that. Something very big is happening here tomorrow in Uruguay. It's election day. So not only is it dedication for us, but it's election for all of the states that are here. So they'll elect their leaders right here in Montevideo. They'll have their the mayor and all the local government will be voted on tomorrow. And so they're taking that to kind of see how it goes. And if things go well, they may look to open up sometime in October.
Oh, wow.
Some of the bigger commercial airlines have said they're going to come back in November. For example, American Airlines and some of those. So we're hopeful that things will go well with this. And then when they start coming back in November, that will help open up the borders.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Yeah. The airlines tracking where they're going is a good indicator.
Exactly.
All right. Are we going to roll?
Yeah, let's keep rolling. Jonathan, let's go to this next part.
While we're rolling some video here, we're talking to Jonathan, who's running the audio and the video for us, and he's done a fantastic job. I just want to give him a shout out. So,
hey, I asked him to stop here because I don't understand this. Can you help me understand? I mean, like I'm pro things, but I've never lived anywhere where we have cannons outside of doors. So what's going on with these cannon pictures?
So this is pretty cool. That is a fort that you see there. An original fort built 500 years ago by the Portuguese. If you remember the story, the history of South America, the Portuguese settled the eastern side. That's why they speak that in Brazil today. And the Spanish settled the opposite side. And so Uruguay, being in the middle between Argentina and Brazil, between the Spanish and Portuguese, was a land that was fought over and went back and forth between them. And so right across the river from where you see that fort, and the cannons are actually pointed at Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina, where the Spanish had their fort. And that was a fort built by the Portuguese, and they would fight each other across the river there. Now it went back and forth, and it was won many times by the Spanish. Then it would go back to the Portuguese. And you could walk down the roads, and you can see one road that was built by the Spanish, and then the next one that was built by the Portuguese. They're side by side along that city there. And so they call it Colonia. It's still kept many of those traditional things. and it really is a beautiful place to go and take a little day trip with the teams that come to visit.
Well, you speak Spanish, so let me guess who won the final battle.
It's interesting. If it wasn't for the British, though, that wanted a friendly port here, Uruguay might not have won their independence as quickly as they did. They stepped in and really helped, and they needed a stronghold in South America, and this became that.
Very cool.
So he is a church planter, a bricklayer, and a historian.
Yeah.
I mean, cease to amaze me. Jonathan, let's keep rolling because this next one is something that, man, I've got to understand. There's a hand coming out of the ground. Don't really understand why there's a hand, but I do understand that there's a very young, attractive couple here that visited. So, Steve, you sent me this picture. You got to unpack this a little bit.
All right.
So,
In fact, I think you have a true or false question at some point in here. So you just let us know when you're ready. And when he asks the question, everybody make sure you engage in the comments and let us know what you think, true or false.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So true or false? The majority of people that live in Uruguay are Catholic. True or false? Go ahead and type it in there what you think the answer is. The majority of people that live in Uruguay are Catholic.
Okay, so while they're doing that, what do you think?
Oh.
I mean, it's Spanish
It's not fair to ask
country.
me. I already know the answer.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Talked about.
I've been to a lot of Spanish countries, and I'm assuming that it's majority Catholic.
All right.
I mean,
think that's what you
most
need to
South
put.
Americans. So
Yeah.
I can't comment, but I am going to say
I'm not going to give you any hints.
no hints.
Uh-huh.
How about
Neither
hints?
is Steve and Jill. No hints.
All right, everybody's throwing it out there. So which one is it?
well, actually, the majority of the people would actually be either atheist or agnostic. And I think about 27% is Catholic. So that's one of the things that makes Uruguay really unique in a Latin American atmosphere or the area, because most of the people either don't care about God, don't believe in God, they're not interested in having a conversation about that. So that picture that you mentioned with the hand, that's actually a really famous statue. And a lot of people come and take pictures of that. It's located in a city called Punta del Este, and it's supposed to be like a person drowning in the sand, and that's their hand coming up. But whenever we go there, it always kind of reminds us of the spiritual climate here, that people are spiritually drowning because they don't have hope. They don't know Jesus as their personal savior.
It's like desperation, this hand trying to reach out.
Exactly, yeah. So that's just always kind of a reminder to us. But it's a very well-known statue. A lot of people like to go there and take pictures, and it's kind of like a landmark for the area.
I can see why, but I'll never look at it the same again, knowing that there's atheistic presence.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we have a really high rate of suicide and depression because of that. I think it just shows that people are trying to, fill a void in their lives and looking around, trying different things, but just not finding hope without Christ. So
yeah, we've got an answer for them.
Yeah, amen to that. And that is. Hey, Mike Day asked the question: what % of the population is evangelical?
It's a good question. From their studies, recently there's been quite a bit of growth these last few years, and they say it might even be up to 7 or 8% now. For years, it was historically 3-4%,
Wow.
but it's probably doubled these last few years, and that's why we say it's such an exciting time here as we see our churches growing, as new healthy churches are being established, and it's really fun to see the influence that this is having in every aspect of society. Like I said, with these elections coming up, we were amazed the last time. For the first time in history, there were multiple evangelicals that were elected to different positions, and to hear them talk about God the way they do and to pray is starting to lead to a change even within the government.
Yeah,
Amen.
absolutely. That's amazing. That's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
You build 100 churches, you're going to see that needle move.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, before we shift to the next one, Lindsay asked, how big is the tourist presence during normal circumstance?
I was really surprised. We went to language school in Costa Rica, and one of the things we noticed very quickly was that it was a hot spot for tourism. When we got down here, we realized that there's more tourists per year that visit Uruguay than Costa Rica. There's some beautiful beaches that are here. As Jill mentioned, the city where that hand is, Punta del Este, they call it the Hamptons of South America. That means the wealthiest of the wealthy come here from all the neighboring countries. They spend their summers here, December, January, February, and they'll spend most of the weeks, months here, and it's just wonderful for the economy to have that. So that's one of the other reasons why they're hoping to get the borders open before December rolls around, so they can have all the tourism back.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I would never have guessed that. So they're international tourists, not necessarily American or even European, but South American tourists.
South America.
Yeah, a lot of Argentine and Brazilian tourists. And then there's also some cruises that come in, big cruise ships that will dock there in Punta del Este. So,
you know, one of the terms that's become real popular is unreached people group. So somebody at Builders just made a really good point that under 3% qualifies a people group as an unreached people group.
Right.
Which, if
So
I'm
we're just
correct,
barely
that
above
really,
threshold.
that we're right there at that when it comes to Uruguay.
It's true. There's even segments of the population here. They might look at the Jewish population and say, well, they're an unreached people group within Uruguay. They might look at the university students and say they're an unreached people group within Uruguay as well, because they would fall far below that 3%. Mm-hmm. And there's even certain neighborhoods right here in the capital city that have the lowest evangelical rate in the whole nation. And so those would be, less than 0.1% of the population, would be evangelical believers in that part of the city.
Well, and I would assume that the city is less evangelized than the rural areas. I mean, that's a guess. That's like, America. But just these tend to be more secular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Well, I concur with what Doris Godwin says. We are thankful for your passion and your commitment to the country. Amen.
Doris Godwin, by the way, Doris and David Godwin are amazing missionaries. They now partner with us at Builders, but they've planted churches all over the world. And I know that they were a part of planting churches in Uruguay.
Absolutely.
So
they came here, they planted churches. Yes. And those churches still exist. They are strong. And those ones are planting new churches as well. So they did a wonderful job here.
I love it.
Cool.
Praise God. Well, speaking of churches, let's keep our tour going. I think we're going to actually look at what looks to be an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous church. Look at this thing. Yeah, this is not one of the churches built by Builders International and McCarthy's. Just to be clear, this thing looks quite old. I'm curious. We travel a lot and see a lot of these older churches around the world. How are they viewed in the city? Are they places of worship still, or are they more like museums?
It is still used for mass daily, but they also allow tourists to go through. It's right there, one of the main plazas, the oldest plaza in the city, and so you can go to the cathedral, you can walk through, you can see the different stuff, and often one of the side rooms they'll have their daily masses as well. But it's sad to see at times, because you walk in and you just see sometimes people that are so desperate for a relationship with Jesus Christ, and so you hope to have the opportunity to be able to share with them as well.
Amen to that.
I think your little Julia is falling there on your shoulder. That's what it looks like. You have put her to sleep while doing this.
He's an easy baby.
Super dad.
Super dad. That's great. You guys are awesome. Hey, let's keep rolling on our tour. So we leave this part of the city and we go into a massive stadium. Now, I saw this and got excited. I was thinking college football, Roll Tide. But this is not a college football stadium. This is a soccer stadium. So how do people, why is soccer such a big deal there?
Part of it goes back to what you're seeing in that stadium. And actually, let me ask you a question. We get a lot of questions from the audience. Let me ask you a question. True or false?
All right.
True or false? And so people can type in their answer. Uruguay won the first World Cup that was ever played. True or false? The World Cup's the biggest soccer tournament that they have every 4 years.
I have no idea.
True or false? What do you guys think?
I'm a football guy.
We call the baseball's final series the World Series. It's only in the United States, and we call it the World Series.
Yeah, we don't.
I mean, the World Cup is legitimately the whole world fighting for the trophy. So soccer, the competition is pretty intense. Yeah.
All right, we got people throwing it out. I have no idea.
What are we getting?
I'm going to guess true because I'm seeing a lot of trues here, and it looks like some Uruguayan people very passionate trues. So I'm assuming they
all
know.
Cap. There's an all caps.
You are correct, Jeremy.
Okay.
It is true. Not only did they win the first World Cup, they won it again in 1950, and so they are very proud and just love the fact that they're so passionate about soccer. The picture that you saw, that stadium, that actually hosted the first World Cup that was ever played.
Oh my goodness.
And they still use it today for some of their important soccer league games, and their national team plays there as well. And so it's fun. You can go by, you can take a little tour of the stadium. You can see some of the trophies that they've won over the years, the different memorabilia from the World Cup, and just see why it's such an important part of the fabric of this society. You know, if you ask Uruguayans what they are most passionate about, most of them will tell you it's soccer.
Wow. And I'm noticing by that picture, I'm believing that is you playing soccer.
That is. Yeah, I still play around with some of the teams here and enjoy it.
Yeah, you played soccer though. I mean, God really set you up for Uruguay, right? Because you played soccer in college, isn't that right?
I did, and now I see why God gifted me that area, so we could actually use it as a tool of evangelism here. And that's one of the fun things. Many of these churches that were planted, our initial evangelistic outreach that we did there was through soccer. And so it just broke down barriers and walls, allowed us to connect with people, and then be able to develop a relationship and share the love of Christ. And so it's pretty cool when a ball can open the door to share the love of Jesus.
That's really cool.
You know, I'm curious, Steve, with the skill and all the competition there around soccer, can you actually hold your own when you're playing with some of these kids when you're playing soccer?
Do all right. Yeah.
Come on. All right, Jill.
It is actually pretty funny because when we first got here, I don't think there were very high expectations for him because they were like, oh, the gringo, you know. And then he started playing, and then he scored a goal, and they were like, oh, the gringo can play. We want him on our team.
Defense on him.
That is so fun.
Yeah, I love that.
That is great. Do they call the game sicker or football?
Sicker? You mean soccer? I think somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I think somebody.
He meant soccer.
Yeah.
Okay. So they call it football, correct?
Yeah, football. Yeah.
Football.
That's really neat. Hey, well, let's keep on rolling. This one's a really quick video clip. And Steve, I don't know if you wanted this one in here, but I had to stop and ask, what kind of car is this? What kind of cars do you see there that we're not going to see in America?
You know, for years, Uruguay was actually referred to the classic car capital of Latin America. Now I think Cuba's kind of taking the position on that. But people used to be able to find all different types of classic cars here, and still, when you go to that city of Colonia, where the fort is, you can see them everywhere.
Like classic cars.
I'm sorry?
Like United States classic cars, or
European ones, U.S. ones. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing the variety that they have.
Okay. All right. What kind of car do you guys drive?
Not a classic car.
No.
We drive a family car.
We have a Dodge Journey. Speed the Light. The teenagers of our network help provide that. We are so grateful. It literally takes us to the farthest point of our country. We go up to the border of Brazil, go over to Argentina, and so it's been part of the new churches that have been planted, these ones that will be built, and without it, we would not be as effective in ministry. So shout out to all the teenagers that are part of Speed the Light.
That's awesome. That really is.
Hey,
fantastic.
Farah asked, do they drive on the right or the left side there?
They drive on the right.
Okay.
So
And are the
we
laws
didn't have to
pretty
make
similar to
them.
what we would have in the States?
Yeah, it's all pretty similar.
Most of the things are very similar.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think Maybe they don't always follow the traffic rules as carefully as.
I don't know.
You get aggressive drivers in every country, right? And so
Right,
they'll just have a few more than other ones.
Yeah.
At least you have lines on the roads there, correct?
That's true.
Okay, well, that is a huge
Car
jump.
rides and van rides are always one of the memorable moments on a mission trip.
Always.
Some of the more memorable moments.
And also some of the most dangerous moments.
You go on a mission trip.
We always have to teach our teams about the taxis. You know, the yellow ones don't stop. So don't step out in the road and expect someone to stop for you.
Just like the elf.
Just like elf.
Watch out for the yellow ones. They don't stop.
Hey, well, let's go to the next one because, hey, go ahead, everybody. You're just prepare yourself. If I could do smell-o-vision here, I would. OMG.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know. I'm drooling right now. Look at that prosciutto. Oh, the Lord. Do y'all just feel the Holy Spirit right now? Just the presence of the Lord is in this place. Look. You vegetarians that are watching have
so sorry.
Bless you. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. Stop right there. What is happening in this country, and why aren't we there right now? Steve, talk to me, my man.
One of the greatest things that we enjoy here are these outdoor asados that they have. And so that's what you're seeing. It's a grill. They'll burn the wood. They kind of move the coals over under. It slow cooks the meats over. And it just has this wonderful flavor, this great taste. And so what you're seeing in that picture there is a few things. First, if you start over on the side, you'll see some provolone cheese. Okay, so they'll melt the cheese. They'll put a little oregano on the top. They'll have some chorizo, some Spanish sausage. They'll have the different cuts of beef that you have to go with the chicken. And I mean, it is just a fantastic meal. The only thing that we've noticed is that they tend to eat a little bit later here. So you could easily have dinner at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And in the summer, we do these asados. That one where the picture's from, we eat at midnight that night. Well, after all that meat and all that salt, we woke up in the morning with like a meat coma. I mean, I was just running, trying to drink water out of the tap. I was so thirsty. But it's so common. Most weekends, people get together. They have little cookouts like that with friends and family, and just enjoy the time together.
Oh, that's awesome. In fact, I think that you have a question. One of your tricky little true/false questions.
Oh yeah.
So, true or false? People in Uruguay eat more meat per capita than any other country in the world.
I'm going to say false. I've been to Brazil, Brazilian steakhouses.
That's right.
Have you ever been to
Uruguay?
Uruguay?
We got Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay. They all pride themselves in their steak and their meat.
But we have like Texas Day Brazil and all those. It's got to be Brazil. Yeah. Okay. We're getting a lot of true and falses. Come on, guys, get in the comments. Let us know true or false. Uruguay eats the most. Say that again. The most
meat per capita.
Meat per capita. All right. True or false? Winner of these, you have the chance to win a shirt. I'm going to say false.
We're going to be going on like the integrity roll, and just okay.
We're on trial that.
Well,
we'll see how that works.
We've only had like what is that?
Questions.
3 questions, and there's one more.
Yeah, one more.
All right. So there's a good chance there might be a tie. What if there's like multiple people that got
paper, rock, scissors?
Okay. All right.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. All right, Steve, give it to us. Steve and Joe, what is it? Oh, are they going to leave us hanging? Are they frozen?
I think that
you can't just leave us hanging on that. No, maybe they're being really, really still to throw us off. The suspense is killing me.
So we're gonna give Steve and Jill a moment, but I know the answer.
You know the answer?
Yeah.
Seriously. Did they tell you all these answers?
Yeah. Well,
it's not fair.
So it's true. It's true.
Is it for real?
So if you put true, you got it.
Oh my gosh. I really thought it was false.
Good try though.
Texas Day Brazil.
Hey, we'll still go eat at the Brazil Steakhouse.
I tell you what, I'm going to tear it up when we get there. Yeah. I guarantee it. So for those of you that are watching that said true, you were correct. And well, I was wrong. My goodness. So they eat a ton of meat. Now, do you think that, I mean, we eat a lot of trips here. I'm thinking that when we go, that we'll get to eat some meat like that. Wouldn't you
I got
agree?
a feeling we'll be at one of those for sure.
I guarantee it. In fact, I just want to go ahead and say that if you sign up when the borders open to go on a trip to Uruguay to help build one of these 100 churches, I believe in my spirit that we can guarantee this is going to happen. At least if I'm on the trip.
Yeah, there's a really good chance. And let me just say, I know Steve and Jill will try and come back. I mean, they know the program. And look, I think we got them coming back in here
coming
now.
back.
So we'll let them know. We shared the story. We told the truth that yes, it's a true answer. And it just froze right up. Y'all did perfect. You're back, and we're rolling.
Yeah, we thought you were just being still to bring suspense. Hey, but while you were gone, there were a couple of questions that I definitely want to make sure to ask. Do girls play soccer in Uruguay too?
Yeah, they do, and it's growing in popularity. I think compared to even when we first got here about 10 years ago to now, there's a lot more that play. So
Play?
It's pretty popular with everybody. And even if they don't play, they love to watch, no matter the age or the gender.
Jill, do you play at all?
I'm a great cheerleader, and I like to play for fun, but I am not very good. I try to play with the boys, and they tell me that Dad's so much better.
Oh, that's Hey, well, speaking of food, with you guys being right on the coast, is fish a big thing there? Seafood, stuff like that, or is it just red meat?
They do eat fish from time to time, but I would say the meat is definitely more popular. But you can get certain kinds that are typical to here, like whitefish is pretty popular. Yeah.
I think a good sandwich would be like some fish in between two steaks. All right, fantastic. Hey, well, let's keep rolling. We're almost done with our tour. Jonathan, take us into this next part, because if you're having all this, oh my goodness, look at this sandwich.
More food.
If you're having all this great food, you got to have something great to drink. Jill, is that you? It's hard for me to see.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
that
girl,
was my first time ever drinking mate. My first time trying it. And what I didn't realize at the time, the way that you do it is they pour some hot water in, and it already has the yerba, it's called, like the tea leaves. And then they passed it to me. So I just took one sip and passed it back. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And they're like, no, you have to drink all of what's in there, all of the water. Oh, so you have to really like it.
Oh my goodness.
We do.
Yeah.
We mostly just drink it with friends. We don't often like prepare it just for us, but we like it.
All right, so you like it but not love it.
Well, I'm a big coffee drinker, so I just can't replace that with the mate.
Absolutely.
Like it.
It kind of tastes like green tea is the best way.
Yeah,
Strong
green tea.
Green tea. In fact, those that are watching, if you want to ever try some, you can actually get it at a lot of your health food stores. It's not necessarily grown right there in Uruguay. Brazil seems to be more common, but you can definitely try it. I'm not going to buy any more.
Yeah. Well, I like it.
But I did it.
My family likes tea, so we might.
I got the little dude you can just sip it out of.
Yeah.
In Uruguay, they like to have it really strong and pretty bitter. So in other countries, sometimes they'll add a little bit of fruit juice or a fruit peel or a little bit of sugar to sweeten it up. But in Uruguay, the most typical way is just really strong and really bitter.
Yeah. Well, I know Latin America is all about their coffee. And I think we've got a true false question for us on this one.
This is our last question, so let's make it good. I don't think I've got
it. So, true or false, Uruguayans drink more tea than coffee. True or false, Uruguayans drink more tea than coffee.
I mean, it's Latin America,
It's a
so
big deal.
coffee's a big thing.
They're all talking about it. Everybody goes around with their hot water mug.
That's true.
But
do they ever drink?
There's no mountains. Coffee comes from countries where there's mountains.
So what if it's a tie? What if they mix the tea and the coffee?
That's a curious.
And
I actually don't know the answer to this. I'm going to go with true, though.
I'm going to go with true because you've been right on all the other ones and I haven't. So I'm going to go with true also.
It's a 50-50 chance, so you know.
All right, we got a lot. We got answers coming in, so give it to us, Steve. Which one is it?
It is true. They love their tea.
All right. All
Yeah,
right.
that mate, the really typical way is they carry their thermos right here in the crook of their arm and the mate cup here with the straw. And they bring it everywhere they go, on the bus, to work, to the beach. Even when it's really hot, they'll drink the hot mate. So they love it. They like coffee too, but definitely not as popular.
I remember Pastor Marcelo had their hot water and their tea. No pressure, but Steve never took his sip when it passed around. No.
I asked him about that, but you know what I think? He didn't translate that part about you guys saying that, so I don't think they realized that everyone was waiting to see him drink it. He's normally all about it.
I lost the bet, but that's okay. Hey, we did have a question a little bit off topic, but I think it was a fun question. Is what are like the animals and the bugs and stuff like that? What are the different things that you have there than we have in the States?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Well, it's funny you ask that because we've found some critters in our house recently since we've been back. We found a few spiders. We've had tarantulas in here. The one that we found recently, I think it was a wolf spider, but whatever it was big, really big.
Like big hairy spiders?
Yeah, the tarantulas are. They generally live more in the fields. They live in holes in the ground and they'll come out, but every now and then there's one that pops up in the city. And we found a bat in our house also since we were back. It was dead, thankfully.
Yeah.
So it snuck in somehow.
There's a few interesting animals here. There's a lot of ostriches up north.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes when you go to a church up there, they'll gift you for preaching with ostrich eggs.
Should I go get it?
Yeah. You grab it, Michelle. We also have the whales that travel by a couple times a year by the coast here. So just a couple weeks ago, they were going by as the seasons change, and so you can actually go to Whale Point and kind of look out and see them as they go by. I think I mentioned earlier that sometimes penguins even swing up from Antarctica during the winter months.
That's cool.
And so occasionally you can spot a penguin swimming around near the port. And so you have some of those things as well. You really would never see an anaconda or any crazy snakes like that. We're far enough south, below the equator. But we get a few cool things as well too. So.
Yeah, so this is an ostrich egg that somebody gave us when Steve was preaching at a church in the north, and so we emptied out the inside of it so we could keep it. So it's kind of cool. It's pretty big. They gave us two. So the other one we hard boiled it, and a friend showed us how to prepare it. Typically, kind of like a salad, like an egg salad, kind of. So they say about 12 chicken eggs equal one ostrich egg.
That's a big old egg. So
wow.
This is a dumb question, but are ostriches actually native there, or have they brought them there to breed and raise? I should know that.
Good question.
I bet you they're.
I'm not sure.
All right.
Well, they're out in the wild.
These were in the wild. Yeah, in the north, right on the border with Brazil.
Okay, interesting.
Hey, real quick, do y'all have parakeets? Richard asked if y'all had parakeets there.
We have parrots.
We have parrots.
Green parrots.
All over the capital here.
And then we had another
the trees in front of our house, and at any given time, you could see 20 or 30 of these green parrots.
Oh my goodness. Joe asked the question. Tell us about the cost of living in Uruguay. Like housing, food, groceries. How do those things compare?
Cost of living would be higher here than most places in the U.S., but maybe a little more than some of our bigger cities there. But just to give you a few ideas on some of the things, I think gas is about $6.50 a gallon right now. There's no competition with it. There's just one price anywhere you go. Milk. It's about $4 a gallon right now. Yeah. The typical things that we see because of their input taxes and some of the stuff like that tends to make prices higher. Vehicles, electronics, anything like that imported would have upwards of 100% tax. So makes things a little bit more expensive in that aspect.
Well, you guys are going to have teen boys at some point, so we're going to just be praying for miracles.
Thank you.
They already eat a lot. I can't imagine in a few years.
Yeah.
Well, guys, these have been some great questions. So what I need you to do for those that have been following along, answering true or false, put in the comments how many you got right. If you got, let's see, there were
1, 2, 3, 4.
So if you got 4 out of 4 right, let us know. If you got 3 out of 4 right, let us know. If you got 2 out of 4 right, don't bother letting us know. You probably didn't win. As you're in the running, put it in the comments. We want to give a shirt away here in just a few moments. Guys, I can't tell you enough. That is so much fun.
Yeah.
Just to be able to, I wish we were there and we could just see it and smell it and touch it, but we will soon. And the door's still open and we'll be there with you. Guys, this has been, I can't think of a better way of doing it without it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's look forward to tomorrow. Let's lay out what tomorrow's going to be. And it's going to be the big reveal, all the hard work from this week and in the months leading up to this event will be culminated tomorrow with the dedication service. This is really going to be it's stretching us and I know Steve and the church to make this work and figure out how we can really experience with the church the dedication service with the tech that we have. But it's really going to be fun. We're actually going to start streaming as people are coming in. The service will start early. We'll officially do our countdown and kickoff at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. But you can tune in early and be there as people are coming. We're going to have the video going sooner so that you can just engage and see, because they're going to start the service earlier. In Latin America, you can tell us how it is in Uruguay, Steve, but services aren't 45 minutes typically.
No, especially special services. They tend to have everyone participate. And so,
Right.
yeah, we'll start here a little bit earlier. We'll get through all those important cultural things, and then we'll have you guys join us at 7 Eastern, 6 Central time.
All right.
That is awesome.
Fantastic.
Hey, so I need a favor from you guys, if you could. Jill, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 6. Between 1 and 6.
4.
All right. The winner of tonight's shirt is Jerry Terry. Congratulations. Our team is getting in touch with you, and we'll get your information and get a shirt
That's
out
a good
to
one.
you.
All right.
Just a great dad joke from Jill's dad. Don't drop
Oh,
the
gosh.
the joke is on you. Can't beat a good dad joke. Gotta love it. Guys, this has been wonderful.
He's skilled in that area.
He really is. This has been great. We appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for taking care of the kids, managing all of this, and we cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. Quick shout out to all the people that are watching. Get your heart ready, because God's going to do something supernatural. We're not going to just watch the service. We're going to be a part of the dedication.
That's
And
right.
we're believing God's going to do miracles. This isn't just a watch an interactive trip. This is an interact with a virtual trip. So we're excited about being a part of it. Get ready. Tomorrow night's going to be amazing. 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Don't miss it. Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. God bless. Y'all have a good night.
See you guys tomorrow. God bless.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.